Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to Poetry Tuesday. We're going to read a poem today about a boy and a ball. Sounds nice and innocent, does it? let's give this a try. We're once again going to the FSG Poetry Anthology, just a naked black and white hardcover that is available at your bookstore right now. It's a new book. This poem is from 1989, and it's by John Berryman, and it's called The Ball Poem. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? What? What is he to do? I saw it go merrily bouncing down the street and then merrily over. There it is in the water. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. I would not intrude on him a dime. Another ball is worthless. Now he senses first responsibility in a world of possessions. People will take balls. Balls will be lost, always, little boy, and no one buys a ball back. Money is external. He is learning, well behind his desperate eyes, the epistemology of loss, how to stand up knowing that every man must one day know, and most know many days, how to stand up and gradually light returns to the street. A whistle blows, the ball is out of sight. Soon part of me will explore the deep and dark floor of the harbor. I am everywhere. I suffer and move. My mind and my heart move with all that move me. Under the water or whistling, I am not a little boy. Once again, we can see there is no structure to this thing. It's slightly more rhythmical than the one that we did yesterday, but there's no structure to it. It's not actually a poem, no matter what it looks like. But there are a couple of other things I think we can glean from this poem. One, I think, indisputably, is that this really happened. That John Berryman saw a kid lose his ball, saw it run away, bounce away from him, and fall down off a pier into a harbor. So not retrievable. I think it's probably indisputable that that happened to John Berryman. He saw that, or he remembers that, or that he saw it in a movie serial or something like that. That's one thing one inference I think we can indisputably draw from this poem. And another inference we can indisputably draw from this poem is that the poet is an a-hole. And since I don't think there's much difference here between the narrator of the poem and John Berryman himself, I think that's a safe inference. That when you see that, your response is to say, what was it again? People will take balls. Balls will always be lost, little boy, and no one buys ball back. Money is external. John Berryman was himself an grade A industry level a-hole for the whole of his life. There's all sorts of once upon a time, all sorts of fashionable posh talk about how he was a tormented victim of depression and alcohol, but he was also a jerk, a grade A neon level jerk, and himself was not above using those things as crutches or excuses for his behavior, and certainly loved it when other people did. I don't doubt, in the back of my mind somewhere, I don't doubt that this incident really happened, and that when it really happened and the boy was just standing there, maybe his lip trembling, trying to stop himself from crying because his ball was gone, I have very little doubt that John Berryman himself ambled over, reeking of tobacco and alcohol, and said, yeah, nobody buys balls back, kid. Better get used to it. You got a whole life of lost balls ahead of you. I have no doubt that something like that happened. And if it didn't, it wasn't because he didn't want to. Maybe the kid's father was there, or something like that. So the ball poem by John Berryman is entirely unsavory. It tries in its last few lines to reach for some sort of, poetic grandeur. It tries to do that. It tries to say something like, well, isn't this the way of all of our inner balls? Aren't they always lost? Isn't life just one procession of lost balls? And you can't get them back. You can't buy a duplicate. Money is just external. It tries to do that. But what it's really doing is making a bad poem out of a bad moment instead of being human. Which I know it's not alone when it comes to poetry doing that, but still, it left a bad enough taste in my mouth, so I'm thinking that for the rest of the week we're going to move away from the FSG Poetry Anthology. We'll move somewhere else. We'll go to some other poetry anthology, see if we can't pick up the pace a little. So I will wrap this up for now, and we'll try that. We'll try something new next time. Thank you, BookTube.